We're at Larkhall in Scotland, the home of world champions in karting and beyond, and one of the reasons behind the ongoing success of Scottish motorsports. This is the Tuto Money Super 1 British Karting Championships. This is the third round we filmed this season so far. Should be officially round 4 this, but round 3 was supposed to include the OK classes last weekend at PF International. Unfortunately, not enough entries for those to take place. This is the first ever race of the Bambino Class at Super 1 for drivers from 6 years of age, and the racing so far this weekend, Jake, has been absolutely epic. Typically, it's always been time qualifying sessions in the past. This is the first time we've ever seen them race, and Heat 2 was a classic, won by 0.02 of a second by the man out front here, Fraser Anderson.
Challenged all weekend, though, by the 46 Oscar O'Sullivan, and straight through past both of them comes Aston Sharp. Goodness me, we are off like a rocket this first race of the weekend for the televised finals. Watch this again. We've got Anderson. O'Sullivan sweeps through to the inside. There was the tiniest nudge, and that's just enough to allow Aston Sharp to zip up the inside and pick up the pieces. Thanks, boys. You scrap amongst yourselves. I'll take the lead. Straight from the drone, and already there's a warning gone out to Oscar O'Sullivan for that one. That's reasonable, I suppose, because there was a little bit of a nudge to nerve Fraser Anderson out of the way. Not intentional, though, let's put it that way. These guys are still getting used to learning their braking distances and putting on the throttle at the right time. But Fraser Anderson in second place won his heat, as we said earlier on, won heat 2 by 0.02 of a second. It was straight out of Talladega Nights, that finish. Brilliant stuff.
It was an absolute classic, no doubt. The warning's gone out. Anderson was down to third place through this turn last time. He's back into second. A little bit lucky, Jake. He didn't go off because he was on the bark chippings that have been dragged back onto the track from people that have gone there off there earlier, but no damage done. Still there now in second place.
Anderson going for the lead. Anderson's there on the inside of Aston Sharp and takes over the place, and I think that's Ryan McCall past O'Sullivan as well. So Ryan McCall has come through into B3 as we go into the hairpin section. This is brilliant work from both Sharp in second position and Ryan McCall in third, having a great race compared to earlier on. In the previous 3 races, it's pretty much been O'Sullivan and Anderson that have gone away and left the rest for dead as they charged their way through. Oscar O'Sullivan trying to come back through. He won the first ever race at MSA Bambino level earlier on this weekend. The first race of the weekend was the first ever race at MSA Bambino level, and he will forever go down in history as the man who won it. Aston Sharp still pushing Fraser Anderson to try and get further up. Ryan McCall in third from O'Sullivan. Sky Parker, the Welsh lady from Treloggan, is there in 5th position. Freddie Duncan, then Gregor Reid, Leif Khan, Gretchen Jameson, Freddie Hare. And after really struggling, you can see her in the background, the 17, Evie Davidson, having a really difficult weekend. I was talking to Louis de Resta, who is, yes, indeed, the father of Paul de Resta, ex-Formula 1 driver. She is being run by Louis this weekend. She's had all sorts of problems with the engine this weekend. That's why she's not at the same speed that she is used to being. So it's a very difficult local weekend for her. But out in front, it is Anderson from Sharp. McCall still there in third. O'Sullivan really struggling to keep up with the leading 3. This is very unusual for Oscar O'Sullivan, who's been leading the way most of the sessions before the races.
You may have been with us in previous shows where, Super Prix for example, where we've seen the Bambinos time qualifying session. Super 1 with these Bambinos, always been a time qualifying session. The MSA have never allowed them to race. They've changed the rules this year, and we've had an absolute classic earlier in the day. We've got more action in this one as the 48 goes through. That's Sky Parker, Jake, making up another place.
Yep, Sky Parker doing a grand job. Up into P4 she goes. We have, of course, seen these drivers compete in other forms of MSA Bambino. Of course, you're not allowed to compete in these races until you've had a few meetings in the MSA Bambinos, basically going through, I suppose, the MSA karting equivalent of the Indy orientation rookie tests. You have to do a certain amount of meetings in an MSA Bambino in the timed sessions to be allowed to race at this level. But this is groundbreaking. This is the first time in British history we've had Bambinos racing at national level, and it's great stuff. Look at these three, Anderson, Sharp and McCall, very evenly matched. McCall might get a really good run on Sharp here.
I'm the first one to give the MSA stick, Jake, but let's call it what it is. Great that they've been listening finally. For a few years we've all been asking, parents have been asking us, the 46 trying to make up a place back. That's Oscar O'Sullivan, but Sky Parker's having none of that. She's going to hold on, does she? Yes, she does.
Beautiful.
Through hairpin one. We've been asking for the Bambinos to race. The parents have been asking, and we've got it. So well done to the MSA for coming up with a solution. And we've got an absolute cracker on our hands here. Small grid, but it's been great racing all weekend, Jake, isn't it? And this one, no different.
Really has. The only reason, of course, the grids are small is because we're so far up the country. A lot of parents find it really difficult to come all the way up to Scotland for these meetings, but it's still great to see the West of Scotland Karting Club putting on a great show. We've got a yellow flag somewhere. Now, I think that might be an incident for Fletcher Jameson, the 99, but McCall is trying to make the move on Sharp as they come up the back straight.
Got him.
Is McCall going to get the inside line? Well, he certainly has on paper. If he keeps the foot in, Sharp's going to keep the foot in round the outside. That is brave from Sharp. He almost held on to it.
Bit of contact, but got away with it. Great racing by the kids so far. And I've got a feeling, Jake, we may see, I know this is part of the official MSA British Championship here at Super 1. It's not at every round of Super 1 though, and I think next year we may see these kids have a British Championship, an MSA British Championship at various circuits, its own championship series. But I've got a feeling we may see the Bambino in at Super 1 as a Super 1 championship class next year. Because I think if we do that, we'll attract maybe 18, 20 plus, because I've asked the parents on numerous occasions as we see the 31 go through for the lead. That's Ryan McCall. He's got the inside line. Surely he'll hold on to that. I've asked the parents numerous times, do you want to race at Super 1? And the answer was a resounding yes to both.
This is brilliant. Fraser Anderson really hanging on in front of Ryan McCall. And interestingly, Freddie Duncan has come up to P5 as well. And look, it is a five-way scrap with Oscar O'Sullivan, the man who won the first race of the weekend, has now got a bit of a struggle on his hands to keep up with the top five. There are 6 drivers who can win this race for my money. Anderson, McCall, Sharp, Parker, Duncan, O'Sullivan. In the background, you can see Gregor Reed coming into the picture, the local man in 7th place. Then a little way back, we've got Laith Khan, Freddie Hare and Evie Davidson, with sadly Fletcher Jameson out of the race. But he will be back next time, no doubt. Here's Ryan McCall, still pushing Anderson to the limit. Sharp is in there trying to come through. Look, McCall's really good on the exit of that double apex and down the back straight. Sharp's going to try and get alongside as well.
What a race this is. Unbelievable stuff.
And this is from Bambinos. Everybody I've talked to said, well, Bambinos are too slow. They don't give you the same kind of speed, the same kind of action. Yeah, rubbish. Absolute rubbish.
They're 6-year-old kids. It's a great starting point. And this is quick for 6-year-old kids. Believe me, they'll think they're doing 60, 70 mile an hour on these karts, the way they will feel. They are going at some lick, let me tell you. And this is an absolute, it's a brilliant race. We've got to have Bambinos for the full championship next year.
Here comes McCall. He's got a good exit out of the final turn, back onto the home straight. 4 minutes 23 to go. I'd say that's about 6 laps, no more. And it's going to be a really interesting battle as they come through. This will be a really good fight as Sky Parker looking very racy on the back of Aston Sharp. McCall defending to the inside line while still attacking to Fraser Anderson in the lead of the race. Again, McCall gets that brilliant charge out of the double apex. He's so good on the exit. And this time, surely he's got the pace. But now Sky Parker's going to make the move on Aston Sharp into 3rd position. She's very nearly going for 2nd place. Is Aston Sharp going to hold it around the outside? Yes, he does. He hangs on to 3rd position. Freddie Duncan now has an opportunity to close up on Sky Parker on a spin. That is Aston Sharp. Aston Sharp has spun it. What a disaster for Aston. Once the leader of this race, of course. And Aston Sharp, well, when it's so close and you're learning your craft, it's very easy for one guy to get spat out to the sidelines. He didn't get hit, I don't think. It was just a little moment.
Ran into the cart in front, Jake, and it's just spun himself out, unfortunately. But listen, you've got to learn. You've got to take your licks and come back ticking. I'm sure he will in future. He's shown he's got the pace this weekend. We will see Bambino, I think, at some of the other rounds this year as well, guys.
Here we go again, McCall, side by side with Anderson. And look who's popped up into third place, dodging it all. Oscar O'Sullivan has come back in third position, so he's made headway out of that little hiccup from Aston Sharp. And here comes Sky Parker defending Freddie Duncan. Now Gregor Reed in the top 6. Now Aston Sharp, I can tell you, has got going again, so he is in 10th position. He will make a bit of a comeback drive. He's got time to make up a place or two, but he's a long, long way back, so he'll take the positives from this one. He did lead the race, and he's got plenty of credence for doing so. A lot of people will be very impressed with what Aston has done here in this race, because he's really risen to the plate. Now, 4th position, still very much up for grabs. Sky Parker having to defend from Freddie Duncan, but look, Oscar O'Sullivan has caught the 2 leaders. Is he going to get the final victory after all? He has fought back beautifully from P6. He's now in P3, and he's given them a run for his money.
Yeah, had a bit of a gap to make up from 6th place, who's struggling to keep up with the 5 in front, who are nose to tail, but he's on them now. I say on them, he's in the top 3, as you say, Jake, right there in 3rd place, close enough to make the move. Aston Sharp, by the way, Jake, he's got to take the positives out the weekend. He's had the pace, he was in it to win it. All right, a little bit of a mistake there, running into the kart in front, spinning himself out, but got to take the positives. He's had the pace, and I'm sure he'll be back at one of the later rounds this year.
Everybody falls down. It's about how fast you get up, and he is still the 4th fastest driver this race. His best time is a 54.48. That's very, very impressive indeed from Aston. Good work.
How you deal with adversity, Jake, that's what builds character.
Freddie Duncan and Sky Parker working together to try and close down these top 3, and it is going to be very, very tight at the end of this race, because we've got just under a minute and a half plus that 1 extra lap, and now we've got 3 karts, no, 4, no, like 5 battling for the victory. This is absolutely brilliant.
Absolutely amazing. I've said it before earlier, I'm going to say it again. We've got to have this class in as a Super 1 championship class extra to the British Championship. It gives the kids, it gives the parents an option to do 2 championships during the season. It delivers more racing for them, and as we know from the kids and the parents in karting, they want more racing. So I'd love to see this as a full season championship next year.
You'll be hearing about Archie Clark in the later cadet race. He, of course, has come from MSA Bambinos, was the champion last year, and his little brother Ben is up and down the paddock all weekend. He's actually selling microfiber cloths that are being used up by other teams. He's washing them and selling them on to make money for his local hospital. It's a great call, and he would really have loved to have been in this, but he's still working up his experience. I'm sure we'll see Ben Clark in this championship, very sure. In the coming weeks, but he would love to be out there battling away with these guys as Oscar O'Sullivan continues to doggedly battle with these top 2 guys, Fraser Anderson and Ryan McCall. Ryan McCall has really stepped up to the plate in this race. He's been top 5 all weekend in terms of pace, but this is the race where he's really saved his best racecraft till last. He's pushing Fraser Anderson big style, who has 2 wins of his own, by the way. Anderson won the 2nd heat and then the previous pre-final, the final one, if you like. But he is now really working hard, Ryan McCall, to get into the lead of this race. Now, I've just suddenly realised we've had a change for 3rd position, haven't we? That's Sky Parker. Sky Parker on the last lap has come through into 3rd position. Fraser Anderson celebrating.
He thinks he's
won. No, keep going, Fraser, keep going. And Ryan McCall trying to catch him. I think Fraser suddenly realised, oh wait, there is one more lap to go.
We saw that in Junior T-Cam a couple of seasons ago, didn't we? When the guy went across the line in front, thought he'd won it, then realised he's still got a lap to go, and it's all kicking off here. Look at this, 5 minutes to win it.
Sky Parker trying to come around the outside of Ryan McCall to go into 2nd position. She gets there. Sky Parker to 2nd. Cracking move. Now that puts her into P2, and I'm not sure she's going to be beaten to that post by the end of this race. She's going to keep pushing Anderson and McCall down the inside to get back on terms with Oscar O'Sullivan. Great race in between these 2 for the line. He's going to get there. Sky Parker might get Fraser Anderson for the line. She's going to try and go the long way round to get the undercut. Here she comes. They're going to be side by side to the line nearly. Fraser Anderson 2 arms aloft. This time he's done it, and Sky is delighted with 2nd place. Rightly so. The young lady from Treloggan has done a superb job. Stellar work. Oscar O'Sullivan on the podium. He's got a lot to be happy with too. From Ryan McCall, Freddie Duncan and Gregor Reed. From Khan, Sharp, Hare and Davidson. But what a drive. What a race. And I hope that's the first of many from MSA Bambino at Super 1. Fraser, what a fantastic weekend. You picked off 2 brilliant victories in the earlier final and that one. Talk us through the race.
Well, it was quite hard. Because everyone was behind me, so I just kept going with my line and no one got past me.
What's the emotion like back with the family? Everybody seems really happy.
Quite happy.
Nice one. Well done, Fraser.
Thank you.
The Bambino class proving there that small grids don't necessarily mean there's no action. We've got another small grid coming up next, the Mini X30 class. It's the TDi Media Cup class. And drivers, I'll give you more information about that after the break.